Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vasel and Sam Healey.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, what's happening, folks?
Sam Healey, what's up, y'all?
Now this is the third time we're talking about the same game, SeaFall, and that's because SeaFall is a legacy game. This will be, actually, the last we'll be talking about it for at least probably a month, just because of different conventions coming up, and this game is not getting shorter as we play it. We're going to start out by talking about the game and what we think about it, and then at a certain point there's going to be spoilers. The editor will make certain you know when those spoilers are there. So if you watch spoilers and you didn't mean to,
It's your fault.
You should also probably not be watching the third overview of the game.
All right, so where we're at right now, we've now played the game 6 times, the prologue and 5 other games. It may not seem like a lot, but each game is progressively feeling like it gets longer. Today we started a little after 9. We had some...
About 9:30, probably. I would imagine.
Took us that long to get started?
Yeah, I think so.
Set up and everything.
No, it was all set up when you came in.
Yeah, I would say we really started getting it going about...
All right, well, we'll be generous, say 9:30. There was definitely a half hour of downtime at certain points, and we finished around 1. So 10 to 1 is 3 hours.
Man, it took that long?
No, yeah. Oh, it was a little...
3.5 hours, maybe.
No, it was 2.5 to 3. Right, but no,
so?
we took out the phone call and all that, as I'm saying, because it's 4 hours ago that we started. So we're being generous there.
It was closer to 3 hours then.
Yeah, probably.
Your phone call didn't take that long.
No, it didn't. So what I'm saying is the game, and we're not like sitting around going, In fact, we felt like we were taking faster turns this game.
Yeah, we were zipping along.
But
we got through more years. We had 3 winters this time.
But I feel like next game is going to be even longer, maybe? Okay, so we opened up almost everything on the game at this point. At the very end of our game, we opened up 2 more boxes. There's 6 boxes. We've opened 5 of them. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going to open a 6th box for a really long time. It doesn't feel like that. Mm-hmm. So, what are you seeing so far that you have enjoyed about the game?
I definitely still like the advisors is probably still my favorite thing. I like being able to customize how I tackle the different aspects of the game. And the closest one-to-one relation to that is the advisors, which ones you have and utilize, and I like that. And it being Legacy, of course, gives that even more life. So I enjoy that aspect very much. And I would say the weakest thing for me, I might have said story last time, but I think that stepped up a little bit. The story that the game is introducing you to, that it's putting you in the middle of. My weakest thing right now, I don't know. I still think the game is not very visually appealing, I guess, is my main thing.
Okay. What about you? What do you like the best?
The thing I probably like the best about it is one of the things that is probably browbeat the most. I'm actually enjoying the colonial aspect of the game, of spreading your kingdom or empire and building new colonies and using the colonies to further the empire. I enjoy that aspect of the game. It's actually really fun. But man, I don't know if this is like an agenda that the people who design the game, the group of people who design the game, are wanting to just really hammer it into your head that colonialism is a bad thing. Because at every single turn, the way those story paragraphs are written, it's like colonialism is bad.
Right, well, here's the thing, though.
Colonialism is
Well,
bad.
They don't
be
give you-
careful with spoilers also.
By the way, colonialism is bad.
But they don't really give you the options in this.
No, they don't.
To be like a nice guy.
They force you
They're
down
like,
that direction.
you can be, you can either
Be careful.
subjugate people, or you can trick them, or ignore them. It's never like, be friends with them. Like, that's never really kind of an option. I don't feel like the guy that I'm role playing, or the actually I'm the female that I'm role playing, is nice at all. I don't feel like I'm a hero. Do you?
Who cares?
I don't feel as...
That's an inside joke. We'll explain later.
No. That's actually not that's not a thing. He named his guy.
He named his guy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So no, I don't feel as strongly about the whole "I'm a bad guy" thing. I mean, I don't relate to him as like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and play a villain for the game. But I'm on board with what Sam is saying, that every story, every snippet of story, up to some newer stuff, okay? And for that, thumbs up. There's a little variety lately, but
starting to taper off a bit.
But originally, I mean, a lot of the reading is still, and was originally, and is still, this whole idea of, you find natives, what do you do to them to take their stuff, And it all kind of reads the same.
I'm with Z. My favorite part of the game is still the advisors, and that part of the game keeps getting better and better, especially because of the legacy part, but also because of us and us naming them and that we're adding our own flavor into the game.
Sure. Yeah. And that's okay. I mean, that's got to be, you got to give props to the designer for knowing that people do that and allowing them to do that. You name your own places, people, this and that. That's going to bring the game to life a little bit for each group. And in its own way for each group. Some people will take it very seriously and name it, find historical names and settings and ideas. Other people are going to be silly. And that's a good thing. I think that brings the game to life a little bit more than
provides
not.
a little bit of lightheartedness to what would otherwise be a...
We may not be doing that.
But you know what I mean? It would be very easy. There is no reason, as far as I can tell, for those characters to not be named out of the box. You know what I mean? The fact that the game lets you do that, I do think adds to the enjoyment.
Yeah, it does.
Another thing that I also really like about the game is something we'll talk a bit more about spoilers, but it was opened up in the third box. And there was a new aspect to the game that I really found enjoyable, and I'm still finding enjoyable. And I'm really excited about something in the newest stuff that we've opened. The things I dislike the most is I don't like the game progresses like do I don't know how to explain it. We're like plotting, and then suddenly
2 steps forward, 1 step.
A lot of points.
1 step forward, 2 steps back.
And then like a little bit, and the game is work, and it's not.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of games that are work, but I'm like, okay, we're gonna get better. But then the game said, oh, did you feel like you were doing okay? And I'm not a fan of that sort of thing. I've never been a fan of games where I feel like the game is fighting me, especially when if a cooperative one, I'm good with it. But this isn't cooperative. And so I feel like constantly, I'm not sure that the game does a good job of catching up people who are falling behind. And because it's a legacy game, I feel like if you make mistakes or you get screwed over in a game over something that could carry over to the next game, that's problematic for you.
But it does give you bonuses, so to speak, or catch-ups for being behind.
No, I get that, but I'm saying like...
But what you're saying is that you don't think that's good enough.
No, let's say you are about to get some... There's certain things that carry over. And you're about to get one of those things. Right. And you don't... It's not like you can say, oh, okay, no big deal. No, you just lost an hour of time.
That sounds vaguely familiar to what I said last time.
Okay, and I'm not arguing that point. I'm coming around to Sam's point of view. Well, you want to keep everything and stuff. What I'm saying is, I'm saying that there is stuff in the game that does carry over.
Yes, there is.
So if you can't get to that point, that bothers me because that you lose all that work you put into it. It's not like in a game where Sam and I are racing to be the first to build a castle, and he built his before me, and I'm like, oh, bummer, but you know what? That's the game. No, now the next game we start, Sam has a castle and I don't have one. What?
Or anything that you built or
a castle's a euphemism there, I'm just saying.
Or procured to get that castle in the last game. You could have everything you needed to build said castle. But somebody ends the game.
And you lose it, right?
And you lose everything that you had to build it. You just weren't on site. You weren't in the right place at the wrong time.
Right. All right. Well, what we're going to do now, because really, I want to say more. It sounds fairly negative, but there are some positive things, but they're going to be spoiler-ishy.
Right.
So we're going to go into spoilers, and then we'll tell you more. So spoilers, 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 spoilers. Okay, so let's talk specifics now. We mentioned we opened some boxes, and since our last thing last time when we had done this, we had opened colonies, and colonies are a pretty big part of the game.
Yeah.
That the fact that when you get colonies, they're worth victory points that will come into play every game. They get you resources, which coming up ahead we find out now kind of matter. And they can be attacked by other players. Although in our games, we're not really going after each other. Although I feel like the game is trying to tell us to do that, and I don't really like that actually.
Well, here's the thing: the most recent box that we opened, we find out that the Pirate King is actually going to come after us now, and we had to destroy 4 good events and add 4 or 5 bad events out of the event deck. So. And we had to add enmity to the new Pirate King's Island that we were able to find. For every enmity that we had on every single island that we had on the board.
Colonialism bad.
Plus, what was the other enmity that we had to do? For every colony that we had.
So things that Sam worked so hard to get.
So if you were going over the last 3 games trying to get a milestone card that gave me 4 points, now I had 7 enmity on one island, which, by the way, counts for every single island that I have to go to now. So it's like, hey, by the way, if you hadn't caught on yet, colonialism is bad.
Yeah, this was box 4, and I have to say, I'm not a big fan of box 4. The box 4 was basically made the whole game harder for all of us. I'm really worried. If we hadn't opened...
I felt to me like it basically went, so up to this point, you've been putting out colonies, you've been buying and selling, you've been exploring. It's time to raid. And we're going to make everything so prohibitively expensive, and we're going to punish you so much for having colonies, and it's going to be so difficult to do these other things that you need to raid for a while. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it felt to me anyway. It was like, let's do this.
Yeah, so far, there's been parts of the game where I thought were boring, and there's parts I really enjoyed. But this is the first box. Now, we've only played with this box for...
Like half a game or something?
Oh, less than half a game. For a very short time.
2 turns.
But I already dislike it a lot. That box. And it affects me, actually, the least. Right. Because I haven't been doing colonies, I've been just going out exploring. So I have an advantage on the other guys now.
He has hardly any enmity at all.
I have hardly any enmity, right? And I still dislike that box.
Yeah.
Because
it hurts these guys a lot.
Me and Derek,
but for me, I've been doing the buying and selling thing a lot, and now everything is so incredibly expensive. I'm gonna have to change.
It's not incredibly expensive. Not for you.
Well, still, +3 is really expensive. You make no profits on that.
I make no money unless I actually unless I use a character. I'd be buying a thing at 6 and selling it for 6. So I have to go raid or, steal the good instead.
Now, theming-wise, I like the idea that there's a Pirate King out there. And
the story's getting better, that's good.
Or, I'm sorry, the Emperor of the Seas.
Right, yeah. Sam's goal is to kill the Emperor of the Seas.
I am going to apply boot to butt.
I'll clear a path for you. All right, so now before this, we opened what was currently my favorite box of the game, and that's where there was the temples and finding the different sites. And that changed the tombs. That changed the story a lot.
And that's really good stuff. I really like that box. Again, anytime they add something that I think kicks up the story, I'm happy with. Because reading the exploration entries, they were very samey. But these tombs are pretty cool so far. And they're very different from that whole find more natives, take more of their, wood or silk or whatever. These are a little bit splashier.
And they have cool rewards.
Yeah.
And one thing I really like is that they'll tell you like a clue there, and you're like, oh, so does this mean I should have some wood when I go into this? Should I have some money?
Yeah.
And I'm using wood for things other than I shall buy some brown cubes here and sell them somewhere else, which the game is still has this economy, but the Tombs feels legacy-ish. And Tombs get shut down at a certain point. We've only shut down 4 of them. So I feel like there's a lot of exploration room left there. And that's kind of what I've been concentrating on. And I see no reason to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And
Except I lost my good advisor. Thanks, guys.
You can get a lot of stuff out of it. Now, the problem with that and the way those Tombs operates is a thing that sort of pervades the entire game, and this is sort of a dichotomy with the whole game. Definitely Derek, I think, is having a big deal with it, but I'm feeling it a little bit too, and that is that the game systems, like the way the game operates, all the rules it has, everything, is very procedural, it's very mechanism heavy. But the top-down feel is super lucky. You can go into one of these things and walk out with 4 victory points, or walk out with nothing, or anything in between.
Or 20 gold.
Or, like a bunch of gold or whatever. But it seems so swingy for the style of game it is, and it gets a little, it takes a little getting used to. I'll just say that, you know what I mean?
It doesn't make sense to me how one die roll can actually over simulate 2 to 3 turns in the game. Because literally you have to go and buy goods and then sail again and sell them.
Right.
That's at least 2 turns. And you probably won't get $20 for doing that, but you can make one roll, and it's a good roll, and you've got $20.
Yeah, well,
I don't understand that.
Well, the problem with that is that you don't know what you're getting, right? So
it's completely random.
Right, but for me, I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Me too. I'm enjoying
that's my
the story
main thing
a lot more.
If you notice, I'm just exploring.
Yeah.
I gave up on the whole buying and selling nonsense because I don't care anymore. I don't like playing those games that much anyway. Right. And had I known SeaFall was like 50% buy and sell goods, I would not have been as excited about it. This part where I explore things is fun.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. We just opened the box with the Illuminati, whatever they're called. Well, I'm calling them Illuminati. And the fact that it came with like a little light and we're going to be able to shine it. We haven't done that at all because that ended the game for us.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about that. And that's what I'm going to be doing next turn. Interrogating people and going into tombs. Because that's why that's why I got SeaFall. Because I want to go exploring and find new stuff and see new things.
Right.
I didn't want to play the game so that I could sell wood for 3 more than I bought it. There's 1,000 of those games already. There really is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm running into a big problem with the game rules at this point. The rule book is falling apart.
Because you have to constantly go back and check.
Because I've gone through it so much. There are things that we've opened. We just opened something called veteran stickers. I don't know what they do. There's a portal that I think is supposed to have a sticker put on it in the middle of the board because there's now portals to warp around the board. I think it's supposed to have a sticker put on it. Doesn't say that. And sometimes it will say things in that captain's log and we're like, you better remember what it said because we cannot go back and look through it again. So I understand that. I'm giving them slack on that because I know how hard that is to do in a legacy game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? But it is. Sometimes we're having to say, this is what we think happens. And we have to agree as a group.
I will say at this point I am the most excited to play again that I've yet been in SeaFall. Because
that last box.
Because we just opened the last box that has that light and the possibility of just a branch on the storyline that I wasn't expecting. Finally. You know what I mean? Everything else has been pretty by the numbers. You know, the one thing was like, the ghost ship. Oh, promise, here we go. That hasn't really paid off too much.
Well, it's been a pain in the neck when it shows up. That's more of what it is.
But now it's like, here is a whole new layer you weren't even expecting. I like when they pull out the rug from under you in these kinds of games. You know what I mean? Like, you've been playing with all these people. You didn't know there was a secret coding system on every card you've been handling. Dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Really
that's what I'm talking
that.
about. That's pulling out the rug. And it finally happened.
I just wish that had been like in box 3.
Yeah. But, so I'm really excited for upcoming games. But the game play itself is, for me, just still a little too slow and procedural.
Well, where's your ranking of it now from 1 to 10?
I'd give it like a 6.5 or something, you know.
What about you?
I still don't like the point distribution. That just really, really, really bugs me. It doesn't seem like, and I've talked to a developer who was gracious enough to talk to me, and he basically told me that they did put a lot of work into balancing things out, the points that you get. I just don't see how they did it. I would love to have the, I don't know, algorithms shown to me that they used to make sure that everything was balanced in this game, because as I'm playing the game and I'm looking at it, I can't see that it is.
So what's your rating?
My rating, it's gone down to a 6 for me right now. So it started at a 7. The last one, the second one, was a 6.5. It's steadily going down for me, simply because I don't really enjoy these heavy Euro games. I understand how difficult it was to put together, but the more I'm seeing of it, the more I'm realizing that this is just not my kind of game. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a heavy Euro games person's kind of game either, because there's such,
because of all that dice checking?
because of all the dice
randomness,
because
right.
of all the chaos and randomness that's in exploring the caves and doing all of that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just don't. And then after this last game, to have been punished so heavily by playing this game in a Euro style. You know?
Yeah, opening that box really displayed.
I guess the question is, at the end of the day, who is this game for? Like, if you're watching this, you got all the spoilers already. But
Right.
if you're undecided, who is this game for? Which is one thing I always like to say in my reviews anyway, even if I don't like a game. And I'm not sure, and I think that's what Sam's picking up on.
Yeah.
Are you a heavy Euro gamer? You might hate the luck in this game. You are a person who is driven by story. It's really slow and repetitive, the story. You know, a lot of the passages you read are fairly
Similar.
yeah. So, what's the thing that you know? Because Legacy isn't a thing. You know what I mean? That's not. Oh, what kind of games do you like? Legacy. No, that doesn't actually mean anything.
Well, I think actually I know the answer to that. I think the game is going to be most popular with Omni gamers, which closest to that would be Jason in our group or myself.
Right.
And even I'm giving this a 7 right now. And I know it before was the hope. Here's the thing. There are parts of the game that I would almost say is a 5 for me. Right? I really, this whole trading and buying stuff, that got old real fast. Now it got a little bit more interesting. The advisors, I'd give that an 8.
Yeah.
Some of the new storylines, I give that an 8. I'm really excited. That new box we opened that had the Pirate King in it, I give that a 2. That's how much I dislike that box. But the other one's like a 9 or a 10. I'm super excited. Like, oh wow, I can't wait to interrogate people. That sounds awful. Yeah. I can't wait to interrogate people. Again, being a bad guy and still not whatever. But I'm really looking forward to playing it again, but also thinking, wow. And it's also going to be a 3-hour game that doesn't feel like 3 hours of amazement. It feels like 45 minutes of amazement in a 3-hour game.
Okay.
So, again, our next review on this is going to come probably a month, because we got 2 conventions coming up, and then I want to play at least 2 more games before we do it.
Yeah.
And the game is long enough right now that one a week is like, And then we got Essen and all that. So who knows when our next one come out, but hopefully this is enough to give people an idea of where they stand in the game. Once you played the game, we should start a spoiler thread somewhere, because I really want to know what other people thought about it, because we have no one to really talk to about this. There's not a lot of people to, you know.
Well, you could always get a spoiler thread going on our forum.
But true, but I don't think most people have the game yet. I think we're going to have to wait till October when the game is more public, and we'll see. But either way, we haven't given up on the game yet.
Nope.
So we're still going to...
Like I said, I'm psyched for the next... I am excited to play again. The most excited I've been to play again yet.
Yeah.
I'm excited to take it to the Pirate King.
I'm going to interrogate people till there's no tomorrow. All right. Well, that's that. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
Zee Garcia, thank you.
And Sam Healey. See you on the flip side, y'all.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.